Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
Hello and welcome to another episode of NSE FinWiz powered by CNBC TV 18 Season 3. Today we are at the Mumbai office of India's leading manufacturer of cement and concrete, ACC. Established in 1936, ACC is India's leading manufacturer of cement and concrete. With a countrywide distribution network, the name ACC enjoys high brand equity. NSE FinWiz visited the office of ACC in Mumbai with the country's finest experts to advise and educate the young employees on investments and financial planning. Well, we're now joined by our two very special experts. We have Harsh Rungta, who's a personal finance advisor with harshrungta.com. Welcome to the show, Harsh. And we have Gaurav Mashruwala, who's also a personal finance advisor. Welcome to the show, Gaurav. And our core topic for today is mutual funds. So, Gaurav, mutual funds, we hear a lot about it, we read about it, but what is a mutual fund? There's a lot of confusion about what those two words mean. Could you shed some light on that?
Sure. So suppose if you want, we are right now at Thane, and if you want to go to Pune, there are different ways we can go. One is we can go in our own car, which means we decide the point to start, we decide the point to stop. Wherever we want to take a break in between, we can just stop the car, the steering wheel, accelerator, clutch, everything is in our control. That's like making investments directly. Everything you're doing it on your own. Another option is either take a bus or take a train, which means those would have a predefined route, predefined starting point, predefined ending point. You go to a railway station or bus station, and then it'll drop you at Pune, and that's where you get down. That's what mutual fund is. Mutual funds are a way to invest either in stock market or into government securities, bonds, which is called debt market, or in gold. The schemes would be defined. There'll be a lot of people investing in it. And because there's huge amount of people investing in it, one, the expenses are less. Second is they have a large corpus and there's somebody expert who's managing. So mutual fund is basically an investment vehicle which lets you invest currently in either equity or in gold or in debt as in corporate bond, government securities, or combination of this.
Okay. So, Harsh, so basically we can use the mutual fund as a vehicle to invest in whatever asset classes that we want. So what's the first step? How do you decide which mutual fund I want to invest in? Because there are a plethora, there's a huge number of mutual funds out there with very fancy names. How do you decide and pick the right one for yourself?
So I think let me just add on to what Gaurav said. The various asset classes that you have are the various destinations, right? You need to decide where you want to go, right? Which is what we were discussing, that you need to know where you want to go. You need to decide that first. And I think that is far more important than which exact, whether you will take X railway or whether you will take a bus. I think the real important part is deciding where you want to go. And I think frequently people confuse themselves by saying XYZ scheme versus ABC scheme. You know, that is like saying that what is more important than reaching Pune is whether I should take a super fast train or whether I should take a passenger train or whether I should go by bus. What is your ultimate objective? Your ultimate objective is to go to Pune, right? And you have certain resources. Then you will decide which vehicle to take. So I think the real key to deciding on the mutual fund scheme is to first decide where you want to go. I think that is very, very critical.
A lot of this question is from Amit Kulai. He says, how do you assess the different ELSS funds before investing?
So first is, again, ELSS, I'll expand and even simplify that for people who find it's in jargon. ELSS stands for Equity Link Saving Schemes. So that's ELSS. Now, it's basically the scheme which has got some approval from income tax CBDT, which means these schemes are eligible for tax benefit. Section 80C when we put in PPF, a life insurance premium, we get tax benefit. One such scheme, one such option is investing in these ELSs which are launched by mutual funds. So that's number one. The second part is how do you assess? Well, it's basically looking at the performance. In case of ELSs, had been few other things, had been a normal equity fund or a normal index fund, I would have told you much more parameters. Here, your sole aim is to get tax benefit and get better returns. I'm not saying the highest. So, you may want to compare those and see the scheme which has not only better returns but lesser risk. More the volatility, more the risky, less the volatility, less risky. So you want to pick up not just the returns but also pick up the risk and then pick up the fund that you want. Apart from that, few other things that you may want to check is how many years that fund has been in existence. If the fund has been in existence for long, it is better for you because that means it has withstood more business cycles. Also, you want to check how much total money they manage. More the corpus they manage, the expense ratio, the amount of expenses that gets charged will be lesser. So your expense ratio, funds existence, all these things also needs to be looked into before picking up a ELSS. But it's not one single measure based on which you'll pick up an ELSS. You'll look at several of those and then pick it up.
On that note, it's time for a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching NSE FinWiz, powered by CNBC TV 18 Season 3. Gaurav, now when we start, let's start talking about the basics of personal finance. When a person starts, some of them have sorted their finances out, which is great, but some might be new and they're here to listen from both of you and maybe start off on this important journey of managing their finances. So for a layman, a person who's just starting their personal finance journey, what is your 2-3 points of advice so that they start off correctly on the right foot?
So first is we both already stressed the importance of deciding your financial goals, and that has to be the first step because without that you're going to be kind of a wanderer. Now once that's done, then you embark on your journey, and there are a couple of steps that you should take in a manner that I'll kind of explain now, so that your wealth and your savings and your investment are useful to you. First is, once you decide the goal and when you embark on your journey, first thing is keep aside a contingency fund. Keep aside about 3 months monthly expenses for emergency. First step. I mean, come what may, whatever it is, 3 months emergency expenses should always be kept, out of which about 7-8 days emergency fund or a contingency fund should be kept in form of cash at home, hard cash, and rest could be in savings bank linked to fixed deposit. If amounts are too large, liquid mutual fund is one of the category where you can park. So it's the first step. The second step is then look at health insurance. Do you have enough health insurance? Is it provided by the employer? Have you taken it on your own? If you are doing it on your own or simultaneously, then you need to have, and your spouse and elder children in the family also needs to be aware of that. So that's number 2. Third is then life insurance. Now it's not life insurance, it's a death insurance. Insurance against death, right? But if I was to come here and say, go to Death Insurance Corporation of India Limited and pick up death, it doesn't work. So life insurance from the risk of covering death of the earning members of the family. So if it's a housewife, it's not needed. Her death is not a financial loss, it's only emotional loss. But if it's a working woman, then there is a need for her life insurance also to be in place. So that's where life insurance comes in. Then go and pay back loans if there are any, or strategize. After that, start investments. And then investments I've anyway spoken earlier, decide your goals based on that. So step is, decide your financial goals, contingency, health insurance, life insurance, repayment of loan, and then investments. And lastly, please make a will. Wherever there is will, there is family, and wherever there is family, there is will. So please make your will.
Generally, people say that invest in market for long term and you will get the benefit. My question is, generally people say it based on the past performance, that we have been getting this much return and all. Now, if I invest in an FD, maybe a 5-year FD or 5-year RD something, I know how much interest I am going to get. But in this turbulent market where, market scenario has changed totally from past. So should we still rely on that thing, that in long run we will get interest which is more than what I'll get in, FDs or RDs, those kind of vehicles.
So you're absolutely right. This market changes condition almost on a daily basis. But the same market, moment you rise above it and look at it from a long period, then every day it is going like this. But moment you look at it from a long period, which is what I mentioned, if you look at it from a 20-year perspective, and then you say 10 years, okay, the market is rock steady. Rock steady is the word for it, right? So the issue is, if you get distracted by these up or down movements, nobody gets distracted actually by up movements. People only get distracted by down movements, right? If you get distracted by the down movements, then you will not be able to invest. So very clearly, this is not fixed deposit. You are not going to see a nice little increment happening every month or every year. That's not going to happen. Your investment value is going to yo-yo a bit. But over time, as has been proven, and we have had events much worse than these, or at least at that time they seemed much worse than these. And maybe the situation today will get worse. Who knows? Nobody can predict. But if you look at the past history, right, then very clearly over long term, and long term means 8 to 10 years, because that's another misnomer. What is long term, right? I mean, we get questions which says, I am a long term investor. You ask him how long, he says 1 year, right? So 8 to 10 years, if you are willing to invest, and if your goal is, that's why investing as per goals is important. If you need that money for your child's education, it's 10 years from now. Does it matter that China has happened and your market has dropped 20%? What a lovely opportunity, okay? And that is why systematic investment plans are so good. They remove you from this distraction. That is why the habit is so important. The money goes out through a systematic investment plan, not available to spend in the shopping mall, right? So clearly, I think if you look at it long term, and long term means 8 to 10 years, the returns from equity are pretty good.
This is NSE FinWiz, powered by CNBC TV 18 Season 3. It's time for a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching NSE FinWiz, powered by CNBC TV 18 Season 3. Today we're at the Mumbai office of ACC.
Suppose I earn 1 lakh rupees per month. What should be the right percentage for savings?
Okay.
Ideally, what is the ratio?
100%? No. So I think obviously from your income, you need to have some part taken away by force, literally by force. Okay. That percentage depends on your age, but I think a good, if you start this young, that percentage can be relatively low. Okay, it can be 20-25%. But if you are old and you have still not made those investments, then that percentage will need to be much higher. The idea is you start this journey earlier, then that percentage can be low. Okay, and you can enjoy from what is left. People frequently accuse us, what do financial planners do? They tell you don't spend money, invest. That is not true. I think what financial planning does is it allows you to spend money guiltlessly, right? If you know that all your goals, that your child's education is taken care of, your own retirement is taken care of, next time you go on that vacation, because now you are doing it from money that you know you can spend, believe me, you will enjoy that vacation much more. Believe me, when you buy that 10,000 rupee, 15,000 rupee purse that you had your eye on, you will enjoy that now instead of feeling guilty about buying that purse. So I think what this tells you to do is that you put aside enough that your goals are met. After that, the money is meant to be enjoyed. You are earning it please enjoy it.
Gaurav, so I want to talk to you about gold. So gold, yellow metal, we love it. There was a period when boom, 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 gold went through the roof. Then there went a period where gold was stagnating. And now with the stock markets getting so badly beaten, it's wham bam, thank you China, boom, the markets have fallen. Again, gold is risen up. There's excitement about it. Harsh says, 5-10% invested in gold. But people will ask, now, is this now good time to invest in gold because gold is going up? Will it again double, triple, quadruple? How do you control those sentiments?
Yeah. So one is, if I knew that I'll be the richest person on planet Earth, and I'll not be sitting here. Second is, how do you control the emotions? Have somebody who's either advisor or trusted person who's knowledgeable, who keeps you focused. Because ideally, you should have not stopped investing in gold. You should have continued when things were bad. I mean, civil people who continued doing SIP in equity in bad times are getting good returns. Start doing now because, again, Harsh rightly said that there are gold mutual fund schemes. He said don't purchase physical. What he means is that from investment perspective, he's not again saying that, don't pick it up for your wife or something. Yeah. No, otherwise...
My wife watches the program too,
yeah,
so I can't...
Exactly, and you dare not do that. And so gold from investment perspective, as he kind of indicated, there are mutual fund schemes. You can keep doing SIP into it. Or now we have government who has launched sovereign bonds, etc. Now, you keep doing that irrespective of prices of gold. The way you keep doing SIP into equity, irrespective of what's happening, you keep investing in gold through these vehicles. It could be a exchange traded fund, which means a mutual fund scheme traded on stock exchange. So the way we buy shares and other stuff, you buy gold. That's one option. Or regular mutual fund scheme, open-ended. That's second. We now have this Government of India coming out with sovereign bonds. You can keep buying fixed amount on regular basis, whatever way it is, but just keep doing it. So again, the way you should not time the equity market, don't time the gold market.
What percentage of saving should be in fixed asset and what percentage of saving should be in the vehicle like mutual fund and all this thing?
So first, I think one big misnomer that people have is that the house that they stay in is an investment. The house that you stay in is almost a consumable. Real estate or any other non-financial asset will have a place provided your portfolio is big enough. Otherwise, it has to be a mix of debt, equity, a sprinkling of gold. Depending on what your view on gold is, I would put gold at 5 to 10%. The investment in gold should not be physical, it makes no sense. Again, jewelry is not an investment. Anything that you buy and that depreciates 30% in value as you step out of the shop can't be an investment, right? So when I say gold, I mean gold that you can liquidate, right? So 5 to 10% gold, how much debt, how much equity depends again on your goal, what your risk-taking ability is, and based on that, you can choose an appropriate instrument.
On that note, thank you so much, Harsh. Thank you so much, Gaurav. And thank you so much for having us here.
The show was excellent. Actually, I have always been investing, but I have never thought of that I need to have some goal before I invest, and that helps in actually deciding that which investment tool I should take.
It was a really good learning experience. From the point of view that, we came to know a lot of details that we were not aware of. I've been investing for some time now, around 5 years, but still got to learn a lot of new things.
Well, that's all on this episode of NSE FinWiz, powered by CNBC TV 18 Season 3. But before we go, here's a chance for you to win a cool goodie bag by answering this viewer question.
The common stock of a company must provide a higher expected return than the debt of the same company because there is less demand for stock than for bonds. There is greater demand for stock than for bonds. There is more systematic risk involved for the common stock. There is a market premium required for bonds. Send in your answers on fwq@network18online.com. The correct answer to last week's viewer question is option B, short-term debt mutual funds and liquid funds. Many thanks to all the viewers who sent in their replies. The winner to episode 13's viewer question is Aditi Khetan.
We'll see you next time with another set of young employees at another company. Until then, from the entire team, many thanks for watching.
Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.